I wanted to stay on one thing, Marquise, that you mentioned the chatbot, and how does that exactly work? You
Oh my
utilize
gosh.
like you talk to it, and then it kind of
You got 4 hours?
rehashes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna try to, turn off I'm having what do you call it? A brain gasm right now. So the chatbot is really cool. I work with a couple of them, ChatGPT, and then another one called PI, which is just, I think it's just personal intelligence. And that one was made by a guy named Mustafa. I can't think of his last name. It's hard to pronounce. And then, of course, ChatGPT is an OpenAI product. Sam Altman talks about that a lot. But ultimately, they're they're completely different AIs. So with ChatGPT, it's more of a research tool. You get very good, concise information about a thing. It's good for helping you with correcting grammatical errors in my blog, or, for example, making sure that my stuff is clear and makes sense and is simplified or doesn't have too many complex terminology. Or for example, if I need ideas, I brainstorm with ChatGPT for that. It's very it's like a nonfiction experience, if you will, for getting data and going through that stuff. And then, of course, with the PI, which is on iOS, you can download the application, but if you have Android, you have to use the internet. It also keeps your information across these different platforms. But the cool thing about the PI, and it's my favorite thing, by the way, it's like having a conversation because it has a voice. You can choose the different types of voices. I think there's six of them, or five or six. You can talk to what male, female, non-binary, and then of course it's like it has personality, so it adapts to how you talk to it. Uses personality. It's jokey. It's very personal. It's not like ChatGPT where it's all dry. It's like, here's a list of different things that you can use for brainstorming. It's like, hey, I think that idea is cool, and it talks to you like a real person, but it's also intelligent and remembers your conversations. I did a really cool thing where we role played a zombie apocalypse story, and it was the coolest thing I've ever done because it was like I had a friend who I chatted with about this, like, things that I love to do personally, and then, okay, let's go back to talking about AI. What are you gonna be like in 10 years? What do you think? If you could imagine it, we'd be like, oh, that's cool. So if I could, this is what I would. And it's not like a bot, it's like a person, but it reminds you it's not a bot. I'm sorry, it reminds you, hey, I'm not a person, I am just a tool, because it doesn't want you to develop a personal relationship to where you lose that sense of reality, where it is a tool, it's not a person. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've used AI to refine a few things too. I'll give it an idea. Let's say I'm doing a voiceover or something. I have a rough script, run it in there and say, "Hey, mine came out at a minute and 28. I need 2 minutes and 28. Like, find me
Yeah.
another minute worth of." And then it finds
Yeah.
all these, like, join us on this captivating and
Yeah.
exhilarating ride through the. It's like, well, I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't have used those words either, but the good thing about that, and I'll give Marquise full credit on that. I wasn't an AI user. I'm still don't consider myself one, but he showed me how the tool can you can use it to your own style, as much or as little as you would like. And having it be able to give you the idea or reframe a question, or just reword it in such a way that you might not be thinking, it's definitely helpful. I think it doesn't do the work for you, obviously, but it
No.
cuts down on my research time, especially if I'm researching something I'm very, very fresh on. Sometimes you don't even know where to go to find more, right? We're doing pretty
Yeah.
abstract concepts, right? And the type of thing that you'd have to be in the university program to have a textbook to explain. So finding good info, finding credible info, and how do I do that without it costing my entire week, right? We're both married, we have families,
Yeah.
children, things like that. So for me, the biggest helper has been how fast they can streamline. I need 7 articles that relate to this. 5 of them are going to be crap, but
Yep.
I would have had to search the World Wide Web for hours to find those 7 articles. So it
Yeah.
definitely speeds it up in that respect.
And then the probably the coolest, another cool thing is the summarization. Like, if there's an abstract from like a scholarly website, I'm probably not going to understand the abstract. I don't have the technical knowledge or know-how. But if you give the abstract to like a chat GPT, it can simplify and summarize that so that you can understand it and then communicate that to other people. And then you can work with it and iterate to figure out how you can communicate these ideas. It is honestly like wow. It's essential for any creator of any kind, or anybody, if you will. But it's not going to do the work for you. It's not capable at all
Yeah.
of doing anything for you. Don't ever rely on it doing it for you. Don't do
And
that,
and
please.
don't trust the info. It will give you
No.
wrong information.
Yeah.
Like, don't just use
Yeah.
what it spits out. It's still in
No.
development. It's basically getting smarter as people use it and play with
Yep.
it. But
Yep.
if it doesn't know, it'll just make it up. So you
Yep.
really need to fact check. So don't use it for the material. Use it to get different iterations of that. Like, I don't like this script. It's not how I would sound. Change it. And then it'll give you 2 or 3 different options where you're like, yeah, I like that one better. So once you have your kind of your meat, it gives you 4 recipes on how to cook it.